How's it going, you guys? So in this video, I'm going to teach you all how to get over the past and how to overcome these nagging, obsessive thoughts about something that happened the day before, something that happened yesterday. Or maybe you're thinking about, a friend that just ghosted you randomly or something. Or you're thinking about your childhood or any of these things. The past is the past. So how can we overcome the past? How can we overcome these intrusive thoughts that come up in our heads spontaneously? A lot of time they're triggered by pictures of something from the past, or an old restaurant you used to go to with an ex-girlfriend or something, and then you start to get these thoughts of this person. You start to get memories of this person, which is just like visual representations, like movies playing in your head of these memories of the past. Then that triggers emotions about the past, which fuels more thoughts, which fuels more visualizations, and the cycle continues. How do you overcome this? So this is very, very simple, but at the same time it can be very challenging to actually understand, to comprehend, to go through with. The main thing you have to understand is that the past is an illusion that only lives in your head. It is not real. It is not tangible. It is not something you can touch, you can experience. The only way that you have any contact with it, any experience with it, or any perspective of it is in your head, is in your mind. It's something you're creating. It's a perception. It is not a reality. And you must really embody this, no matter what you think. You could think, oh, my perception is my reality, blah, blah, blah. But we're not going to get that deep. That's not going to help you, okay? The fact is, the past only exists because you keep bringing it up, because you keep remembering it, because you keep thinking about it. And so if you really want to overcome your attachment to the past, what you need to do is, of course, again, first realize that it doesn't exist and it only exists in your head because you keep bringing it up. And second of all, understand that the present is all that exists. And you really need to experience the now. You need to experience the now. You need to experience the power of now. And you need to get more in tune with the flow state. I believe, so I've actually experienced time and time again, the more autopilot activity I allow myself to do, meaning the more scrolling through social media, the more mindless web browsing, scrolling through YouTube videos, mindlessly watching all these different YouTube videos without actually being interested in any of them individually, and not taking my time and living them one by one. When I'm letting my mind just do what it does without me consciously controlling it, what I'm doing is training my brain to be unconscious, to literally just work by habit, to work by chance and not by intention. And that is developing habits that are counterproductive to focus, that are counterproductive to flow, and that are counterproductive to living in the now. Literally, when you are on autopilot and you're scrolling, you're training your brain to be more susceptible to dwelling on the past. Okay? That's the first thing you must understand, is you must develop presence first by removing all the things that are opposing presence, all the things that are opposing a flow state. All of these autopilot behaviors need to go. You need to remove surfing the web entirely. Remove porn, remove social media. Not removing it entirely, but removing the surfing aspect. Remove porn entirely, definitely. But keep your social media only for when you're going to create content. And not sharing memes, that's toxic. Not sharing memes, but creating your own content. Otherwise, if you're not going to talk to people and whatnot, you're not going to create your own content, fuck social media. It's toxic to your brain. It's directly opposing the present moment. It's directly opposing your conscious awareness of reality. Remove it. It's fucking you up. And then you must develop a flow state. You must experience presence. You must experience the power of presence, the power of now. You must experience it. And so, for example, last night I was, getting stuck in certain memories which were causing me depression, despite the fact that it was Christmas and I had a great day, and it was bringing me down. But then I started to live stream to my YouTube subscribers, started answering questions, got me caught up in this flow state of ultimate consciousness. So it's just, like a tunnel vision of thoughts and consciousness where I'm rapid fire just, sharing my mind with my subscribers live, and completely brought me out of that state of dwelling on the past, out of that state of depression, and into this state of just pulling ideas and thoughts out of nowhere to answer questions, to provide value to my subscribers. And I started to notice, I just completely lost that attachment to the past. I completely went from living in a state of dwelling on the past to living in a flow of consciousness where my state goes higher and higher. And I like to think of this dwelling in the past as a completely different state of consciousness altogether, a completely different reality, if you will. I'm living in this reality of dwelling on the past that doesn't exist, and then I jump to this reality of just zoom, just straightforward, in the moment, on top of my game, sharp flow state. And the more that you experience this flow that I'm talking about, the more you're able to see the contrast between the states of consciousness of dwelling on the past and the states of consciousness of being in the now, being in the present moment. And the thing is, at the end of my live stream, I lost all the depression. I lost those thoughts, but I could easily go back to that state of dwelling. I could easily start to pull those memories up. So anyway, when you experience the present moment, you forget about the past because you're out of that state. And you can experience this flow state through many different ways. You can do it through sports. I guarantee you, if I go into a hard jiu-jitsu grappling session, I'm not going to have enough time to dwell in the past. It happens sometimes. It really does. But you're going to get choked if you continue dwelling, if you're not in the present. So doing a martial art where you do some type of sparring will continuously bring you into that flow state over time as you develop your skill, which is one of the reasons why I love it so much. Listening to music, jamming out, and working out, if you really train, you can force yourself to enjoy that and to focus on the music, focus on the workout, and it can get you in the right state of mind with the double whammy of endorphins. So there's a wide variety of, you could do meditation, you could do mindfulness meditation where you play some music, for example, and you train your mind to listen directly to the music that's being played in your environment. And that gets you in the present, and you get a boost of endorphins from the music. And what you have to understand is it is brain training. There's a reason why some people claim, no matter what I do, I just can't stop dwelling on the past, or I can't get out of my depression, or I can't conquer my anxiety. And it's because they think that it's a normal thing that everyone's supposed to do. The biggest flaw in psychology is thinking that there's a such thing as a normal brain or healthy brain. There's not. There's no such thing as normal. There's just what habits have you trained? What skills have you trained your brain to be able to do? And if you haven't trained presence, if you're always dwelling in the past, what happens is you're actually strengthening that neural pathway. You're training your brain to dwell in the past. And so if you train your brain to dwell in the past, it's going to get better at dwelling in the past. It's going to be harder to stop doing that because you've gotten so good at it. You must think of these things that you do with your brain as skills. So start training your brain to be in the present moment. And if you stop training your brain to dwell in the past, if you just like continuously force yourself to stop dwelling, what happens is it's like a muscle that has not been used for a long time. That muscle atrophies. You lose that muscle. And it's no longer easy anymore. You can only lift 300 pounds if you train yourself over a period of time to lift 300 pounds. And if you stop lifting 300 pounds after a couple of weeks, you lose that strength and you can't do it as easily anymore. And then you gotta spend weeks doing it again. So you gotta think of your brain as a muscle. And you train your brain to be strong at dwelling in the past, it's gonna get real good at that. But if you stop doing that for a couple weeks, it gets harder and harder. Start training your presence, experience presence, and you'll realize when you're in the present moment, the past fades away. You literally, like, you could be so depressed about something, so upset about something, but then you train your presence and you get into the present moment and you do some kind of flow state activity, and then when you're done, you completely forget about what you were upset about. Now, a lot of times, depending on the degree of that emotion, it'll still be there in the background. It'll still be there waiting for you when you get done. But the connection that you had to that strong negative emotion, to the past, is weaker. And you have the option of building back that momentum towards the past, towards the depression, or riding the momentum of the present moment. So, some other techniques you can use. There's a book that is heavily cited as one of the best in this type of field. There's what is it called? It's called Ask and It's Given by Esther Hicks and Jerry Hicks. I'm not a really huge fan of their writing style, but they have like 20 different techniques you can use to overcome some of these negative emotions. They have like the rage of appreciation, they have the focus will, there's journaling, there's all sorts of different techniques that you can use to build momentum towards a greater state of consciousness, towards the flow state, towards the present moment. When you understand that what you're focusing on dictates how you feel, and if you continue to think of the past as like this entity that you created. It only exists because you focused on it. And every time you focus on it, it starts growing. And then you think of the present moment as the same thing. It's an entity that you create, and the more you focus on it, the more it grows. The past makes you feel negative. It's a negative emotion that grows along with it. The present moment is a positive emotion that grows and only exists and only grows when you focus on it. And it shrinks when you stop focusing on it. The more that you focus on the positive moment, the more it grows. Think of it as like a balloon, and you're blowing into that balloon every time you focus on it, and that balloon gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Well, that's how the past is, and that's how the present is. The only difference is so another thing is that a lot of people are addicted to the past, and they're addicted to those negative emotions. And I'm going to probably make a whole nother video on this because it's so important and it's something people are not aware of. But our attachment to the past is actually like a really dirty addiction. And like, it's similar to complaining. It's similar to arguing about politics. People don't realize it, but they're actually addicted to that dirty high, that feeling inside their chest where it's like, they're addicted to these feelings. And so a lot of people, they dwell in this depression because it feels warm to them, even though it's something they want to get out of. But it feels warm to them, and they stay stuck in that, not because they can't get out of it, but because they actually they like that feeling, even though it's not, a positive feeling or whatever. They like that feeling, and they may not be aware of it. So you've got to recognize that. Getting angry at people on the road is like an addiction, literally. And complaining about things is like an addiction. And feeling depressed can be an addiction. And thinking about the past can be an addiction. You know, especially like if you get over a breakup and you constantly relive those memories over and over again, it's like you're addicted to it. It's crazy. And then it doesn't help that Facebook has like these memory things that they always bring up. And so you'll constantly see memories with your ex or with these old friends you used to have. And it keeps bringing up the past. And all it can do is like, and it can, you know, it can be a good thing obviously, but it can also trigger negative emotions that can completely distract the rest of your day. So a big thing is obviously take lessons from the past, but if it's getting in the way, you know, you should always learn from your past. Huge fan of that. But if it's distracting you from creating a more positive future, you've got to remove that from your consciousness. So leave your question in the comments down below. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if it's helped, and let me know if you have any other ideas for future videos. I like making videos like this. Let me know if you enjoy like the free-flowing state of consciousness that I bring to these videos, where I don't have a script or anything, and I'm just kind of like pouring my heart and mind into the camera. And let me know if you like the style of videos. Talk to you guys soon.